me see if this works. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, sweet.
I think Road's on as well.
Sounds good, sounds good. So we are streaming on X
And
as
you
well as Discord, right?
no, just X and YouTube.
Okay, sounds good, sounds good. All right, what are you looking at there?
Amazon earnings. They got killed.
Oh, is that the reaction just now? Interesting. Yeah, you know what? Actually, I was hearing that Amazon was going to have a better earnings than Apple. So we'll see if Amazon
Apple
is
has
already.
nothing.
Yeah, what is it in an hour or so?
I
It's
think so.
probably it's probably soon, but I was hearing actually that Amazon was going to be the kind of like the surprise of both of them. But if that's the case and it's going down, then we'll see. I mean, look, the market, kind of like Nasdaq went up 2% yesterday after Powell's speech, um, and then almost like this morning we had a fake pump that a lot of traders were calling bull trap. I honestly don't know if it's a bull trap or is the market resetting. The truth is, I mean, we've been hot for the last 9 months. I mean, you think about it, like how much the S&P and the Nasdaq have gone up in the last 8 months. It's well, actually 9 months if you consider November, December. It's absolutely bonkers, right? So I don't see this as something to be concerned about. Definitely with Powell pointing out that you know uh, inflation is going down and looks like we might have some rate cuts here in September. I think that those are positive notes. It's just the market resetting. Crypto in general doesn't have a good August month historically, but as we still know, it's still heavily dependent on risk assets. So the whole U.S. equity market is falling. I don't think crypto is going to surprisingly like here have a run, but there's certain coins that are holding up fairly well. So I'm not fully bearish. I'm actually the opposite. I've been buying certain tokens here, what I call local lows, because we've definitely had, some like 30 to 40% kind of like retracements on some of these tokens. Um, and I think Solana is down a little bit today. I don't want to say it's like 1 or 2%, but it looks like it's bouncing up a little bit too, right? So I don't know. We'll see. How are you guys seeing the market? Hey, Rhodes, good to see you, man.
Hey, good to be here. Good to hang out on the stream, you guys. Excellent.
You're kind of quiet. I'm trying to edit your
Am I quiet?
just a little bit.
Okay, it's probably because I got AirPod on. Let me just disconnect it.
It looks like Coinbase is doing well.
Yeah, I mean, it was down this morning. looks like now it's rebounding a bit. I mean, not really. Um, I mean, what is it? 212. Yeah, it's still down a little bit. I mean, I think Coinbase really moves with Bitcoin and Solana. And so if Bitcoin and Solana are down, Coinbase normally goes down as well. I saw a chart from someone today that literally Coinbase chart kind of like almost mirrors what Bitcoin and Solana do in terms of price action. So I know earnings are today or tomorrow, no? I
It's
believe for
today.
Coinbase
It's
today.
today. It's right
Okay,
now.
so let's see. Oh, you're looking at after hours. Let's
Yeah.
see.
So it's Apple, Amazon, Intel, Marathon's also today. Interesting. Today's the
Yeah,
crypto earnings day, I'm guessing. Marathon, Coinbase, MicroStrategy's today. Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Well,
crypto earning day. Square.
yeah. No, it's definitely an important day. I mean, yesterday was a pretty interesting day for the stock market, right? Because you had Nvidia recovered almost like 10%. Um, and then
It
I
got
think
destroyed today. Basically,
Meta, yeah, it got destroyed today. But then Meta was up like 10% pre-market, and I think kind of like gave it all back. I'm not sure.
today was a
Um,
bloodbath. Today, it was terrible.
yeah, but it opened up like up plus 10%, and then right after, like I believe after 1 hour before the market opened, it kind of like completely collapsed with the rest of the market. So we'll see what happens. I mean, honestly, I am not too focused right now on the top magnificent seven stocks. I'm looking more at crypto in this case, because I've actually been looking at different tokens in the last couple of days where they're obviously correcting a little bit, but they don't really look as bad. So what are you guys looking at when it comes to crypto?
When it comes to Bitcoin, we got a key level hold here on the 4 hour. So this like range that we hit on the 62.8, holding above that line, I think is still quite important. If we lose that range, I'm looking for 60 on the downside. Otherwise, we need a bit of a sharp correction, get back to above 66, and then we're looking good. But I think we're in maybe a bit of a short-term correction here. Kind of in this like larger bull flag kind of pattern going here, and watching that out. So there's definitely a lot going on overall. You know, some macro things at play that make things a little bit more challenging. So crypto's interesting right now. It's so positive, so bullish, news wise across the board, and it seems like things have kind of shifted just a little bit, which is wild because 2 days ago, 3 days ago, we were we were expecting all time highs again, right? So it's just this flip flop on crypto that's making it tough for I think a lot of people. So you just kind of want to ride your long term spot position. I think is probably safest, and be in your probably majors for the most part,
Mhm.
with a smaller spot bag for a little bit of degen gambling kind of meme token, etc. Is I think your best plays at the moment, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things happening, man. Because I think it's just like you have the conflict in the Middle East, right? With Israel and Iran bombing each other and a bunch of things
Hmm.
going on there. You have this stuff going on with in between Maduro and Elon, which I don't think is that much political, but there's a lot of things happening in Venezuela as well. And then you have the conflict, well, conflict slash kind of like drama in between Trump and Kamala Harris.
Yeah,
With there's a bunch of things going in the macro space
yeah. And I
that
think I think the
are,
Dems gaining a
yeah,
lot of momentum here lately is putting a damper
yeah.
on things too.
Yes, yeah, I think so too. I believe they see the Democrats as anti-crypto, even though lately
Yeah,
they've made some moves towards being more crypto, friendly, but at the same time, you know, we still have to remember what happened in the last 4 years. So we'll see. I am I'm watching it. I'm not like Dancy. I don't really bet on poly market. I know you guys are experts in betting on these politify kind of like
It's
bets, but
excellent.
as long as we all know that there's an ultimate, you know, the ultimate goal here is, and the ultimate goal and the actual most important aspect of this is that institutions are heavily buying Bitcoin. Like I think
Hmm.
today we had some crazy numbers. I think we had like I was looking at it, can't remember what it was, but it was the largest inflow or purchase of Bitcoin since 2014, right? Or in the last couple of days, which is we've seen definitely some outflows, but it's definitely very positive to see that this institutions are buying more Bitcoin. Oh, here it is. Um, the large BTC holder bought 5.4 billion Bitcoin in July. So during this month, um, we have had the most inflows or Bitcoin buys since 2014, right? So yeah, we're still on this choppy time in the summer. It doesn't really look beautiful. We're ranging between 60 and 68 or 60 and 70, but we're very close to all-time highs, and it doesn't look as good as a trader or perhaps as someone that it's been here, you know, for a few years, or even like since the beginning of the bull market. But if you zoom out, we're technically still, in a very good spot when it comes to trend, right?
Hmm.
So I don't see any triple tops. I don't see anything like that yet. Even though definitely, the chart looks like it wants to kind of like come down a little bit, but I have my conviction that I don't think we're gonna see sub 60 or sub 55 thousand Bitcoin. How do you guys see it?
Did you say sub 50, 65 or sub
No,
55?
it's
What was
like
it?
55. Yeah, I mean like 60 we might test, but I don't think we go under 55,000
Yeah,
ever again, or even like get to that point.
I think you're
Um,
I think you're pretty
so
good on that assessment. I think 60K is not out of the question. In fact, I still expect something in that 61 maybe range, but
yeah,
it's going to be a quick move either way if we get anything like that. So overall, I think we're we're, we're pretty good. The fact that we got a nice move up here the last little while, I think just shows that the strength is still there.
yeah,
And it's just continued chop, continued liquidity pulls, etc. Um, and we're going to get that move, and it's going to come pretty violent when it does come. You know, is it end of summer? Is it fall before really we strike out? I don't know.
yeah.
But it kind of led us to think that we were this rally from July was pretty significant and happened pretty quick. So does show that it's possible.
Yeah. I mean, look, even if we chop here, I am not too concerned unless we cross certain levels. I think, yeah, for me, 60,000 Bitcoin is the first kind of like, you know, um, kind of like, point of view. When I think about it, like, okay, is my assessment right? If we test 60, 59, I'm not too concerned. If we go back to 55, then is when kind of like you think about it. But other than that, I'm still bullish. In fact, yesterday I was looking at, because I'm heavily focused on the Solana ecosystem. I know a bunch of you guys focus on the Ethereum, and there's a couple of tokens doing fairly well, but you know, Solana is the number one, layer one, right? And I've been very focused on that chain, whether it's DeFi, AI, or even meme coins. And so yesterday I kind of like saw a couple of large caps doing actually getting wrecked, right? Like I think Popcat was down 40%, and a couple of other ones. And so I swapped out of my. I had other positions in some meme coins. On the last couple of days before yesterday dump, I kind of like exited my what I call mid to low cap tokens for now, and I rotated some of those into large caps, right? So I put up a bunch of my soul into Popcat, and I think we're up 10%, right? I think pop guys around 0.68, something like that. I enter around 0.61, 0.62. So that's doing well. I don't know if it's going to be a short-term bounce. Most likely we'll see a retest here, but kind of like when you play when you know how to play this kind of like market, then you go to the beta place, right? Like beginning of the
Yeah.
of the early cycles, of the early stage of the cycles, dub with hat was the same, right? Like when Bitcoin went up, sorry, when Solana went up, it used to be a 3 to 4x bet on that price action, right? So so that's been pretty good so far. And then yeah, I'm not really confident about AI and gaming yet, so I haven't really touched that ecosystem. But I know there's some tailwinds in the back here with Microsoft heavily investing in AI, although investors didn't really like it. What do you guys? How do you guys see it? Do you think Microsoft earnings were a concern, or is actually a bullish kind of like outlook for crypto since they're investing in AI heavily, and part of it will be probably captured by the crypto space?
Well, I wanted to touch first on your meme coin rotation. I think that was smart. Danksy and I were discussing several meme coins on Monday, and really looking at almost all majors being at kind of a very key level of support, and that was leading into kind of this Bitcoin weakness that was going on, and we are discussing the possibility that if Bitcoin had any additional weakness, then most meme coins would lose key support. So you got out at a really pivotal time. So I think that's really good. So well done there. And then when it comes to Microsoft, I mean they're so strong overall, and I think they're gonna land on the right side of AI, et cetera. So I think it's just a really good grab opportunity when it comes to Microsoft in general. So I'm not concerned about whether or not they have weaker earnings at any point in time, et cetera, because they are continuing to be a leader when it comes to AI and enterprise and anything computing related, right? So it's hard to not want to double down on where they're at.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good buying opportunity for a lot of these tech equities, especially Microsoft, especially the big names. I mean, look at the chart right now. It's
It's
we're
looking
paying
good.
like what, June prices, early June prices for these,
Mm-hmm.
and that was like before the big run up you see here. So I mean, I think give it 2 weeks to a month, and then we can start looking into
Mhm.
buying
And
more.
it's holding support, the long-term trend support too, right? At least from what I can look at and see there. So you look at that long-term trend that it's been running on, this pullback is just really back to trend support. So it, I think it's still strong technically. It's hard to tell. I don't know if it's dropped below that trend support at all, and maybe that's why this pullback's a little bit more significant. But it's looking like it's right on that trend support range there. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
and they I think they still lead when it comes to AI for the most part, right? So um, yeah,
How big is Microsoft? I mean, what you think you can hit like a 4 trillion, $5 trillion company?
I mean, look at the race is going to be AI, right? And so all these, the top companies are positioning themselves in that aspect. So can it go to 4 or 5 trillion? Perhaps, but it's going to be definitely heavily dependent on this AI investment. So this year and next are going to be critical because I was talking to someone in the space, and there's this conflict over the chips in Taiwan that can be well, that's a major geopolitical, kind of like risk and conflict, right? Like this is going to be, this is way more, much more than just like, relationships in between countries. This is really the whoever controls and has the lead on AI will definitely become the number one, or stay, right? If we're talking about the US or China, will definitely be the number one, country powerhouse, or country, economy in the next 10 years, right? Everything we're seeing is heavily dependent on these chips, and right now we're in a, I mean, you guys just have to look at the chart of Nvidia, right? um, we're seeing right now the early stages of kind of like what we saw in the 2000s. Is what we call a bubble excitement of future. But I think as these things start to really develop, and you're going to see that all these companies, you're already seeing it, Apple, Microsoft, Meta, they're all heavily going to focus and pivot to AI, right? AI agents, that's really the future, right? And hopefully crypto sees some of that upside as well, just because they're so correlated. But yeah, that's how I see it.
Is TSMC still trying to move to United States, or is that not even like a thing anymore?
I haven't heard about it. No, I know AMD is trying to uh, produce, or is already kind of like producing chips in the US, right? Wasn't that the move?
I don't think AMD makes chips. I think they let companies like TSMC make it. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, well, we'll see if that's the case, but that will be definitely huge for the US, not that good for China. So I don't know how that's going to play out. Um, it looks like right now, like when it comes to crypto, you want to be a stable coin. I mean, Tether, it's just like, this is no joke. Tether made like 1.3 billion in profit in Q2. Um, so if you consider Tether a tech company, right? It's a stable coin provider, but and you give it like the same kind of like earnings as you would give a tech finance company, you're looking at, you know, what is that? 1.3 per quarter is about like 4 or 5 billion a year in profit, right? And then you time that 10, so it's nearly a $50 billion company, right? Like this is no joke, right? And it's a stable coin, so you just have to realize how much inflows we're seeing in the crypto space that might not be yet reflected on the price of Bitcoin and our altcoins, etc. But very soon is going to be massive, right? So I I always like to look at the market in that way. Um, what are you guys looking at when it comes to to crypto? Are you guys looking at altcoins, mostly meme coins? What's your current approach to the market?
Just waiting on Bitcoin right now. Have some ETH. Just rotate some of my capital into ETH with this pullback. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and just waiting for trying to not trade too much. Um, just waiting for the bull market right now. In reality,
We are in a bull market. You're waiting for the bull market.
yeah.
Don't wait
The
too long,
the bull
Danksy.
bull, the double
Okay,
bull market.
you're looking
Is
for
this?
the
I mean,
banana zone, right?
you don't think Bitcoin's gonna hit like 100K?
Oh, definitely. But I think we started the bull market in 2023, right? If you think about like the lows, I consider October 2023 the start of the actual bull market. I mean, some people say it was before that, after November 22, but I think that was kind of like still like bottomish consolidation. Right? If you think about October, um, Bitcoin went from like 20, what was it? October, I'm looking at October here, the lows of 25,000 to literally 73,000, right, in 4 months. So I consider kind of like what you call a bull market started in October 2023, and now we're in this kind of like choppy period that really sucks. But we're still in a bull market. I don't think we are in a bear market. I don't think you can say differently, right? I mean, we're like literally within like 5-10% of all-time highs. So how
I'm
do
just
you
waiting
see
for
it,
the.
Rose?
Sorry, I'll correct my statement. I'm waiting for the euphoria phase of the
Okay.
market.
Well, you don't wait too long, right? Because if you do, you're gonna have to be buying much higher, and then we know how that ends. 20. Most of us round trip a bunch of our altcoin and kind of like, if you want to say round trip, and it depends on your time frame, right? But yeah, you know, the 2020-21 cycle, how it worked out for most of us crypto native people. We held it, waiting for 100,000, and never came. So yeah,
Yeah.
it looks like how are you seeing the NFT market, Rhodes? Because it looks like it's holding up fairly well. I mean, there's so much more you can go down, but how, what are you looking at in the NFT space?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the collections that has still kind of stood out for us is Doodles, and this whole kind of inflection point over the next month with the Toronto Film Festival and the rollout of everything that they have. I think it's the next. If everything goes well, it has that ability to kind of catch a little bit of pudgy penguins in terms of just grabbing some mainstream adoption and then capturing more attention within the space. So that's a major catalyst. Watching Azuki a little bit too. Azuki's super quiet when it comes to everything that they're working on, and you want to believe that they have some anime project or something like that coming along with their brand that they can really kind of strike a major move. And then what was it yesterday? We had some interesting bits that went on with BAYC in the fact that
Oh
there
yeah,
was some sweeps and buys, but it was like a machi kind of deal going on, and that resulted in a bit of a short-term
yeah.
move and pump, and then it's kind of retraced a bit. But it's good to see. It's good to see that energy. It's good to see that kind of run and show that life within the market. So that is
I think what it
fun.
was, and I don't know if you know, you can probably correct me. I think he was trying to. It was a new protocol where you could swap a Bored Ape for 100
Yeah,
BAYC token or something, and I think some snipers
Yep.
noticed the contract being deployed, and they kind of like, as always, right? There's always the smart guys that have their
yeah,
bots and they're ready, and they kind of like manipulated
yeah,
price action, and then most of the other guys, the your average buyers got trapped in that trade.
yeah.
Is that what happened? Yeah.
Yeah, that's my take on it. Is that it was the Machi token or the token that got dropped. I think it was 100,000. I'm not sure exactly the number of the token, but you're right. They could swap it, and it was a profitable move and swap, and
Mhm.
that it was caught early by some individuals. And so they made that move, and then there was kind of a bit of a momentum play, believed by others, where there was typical, okay, BAYC is coming out with an announcement, obviously, because all of a sudden there's these buys, and so we're going to buy because there's insiders buying, and we're all buying because we're back, right? And that's kind of
Right.
what pushed this whole up. And then once it was understood what the scenario was, then of course then it's going to retrace a bit. But it's it's fun. It's exciting to see just that pump and run a little bit too as well. I'm not definitely not against it. I mean, a little bit of market manipulation, et cetera, that goes on in there. Some new tools, et cetera, that all that kind of stuff. I hesitate towards like just standard normal markets when it comes to NFTs. Even the NFT fi has led to its pains as well. So I think the more standard NFTs are, it seems like it's healthier without these kind of events that push price in kind of weird ways. So, but there are pockets of interest and excitement. I think a lot of consolidation for most projects, which is good. A little less of that slow bleed down. I think it's like leveled off and bottomed out for the most part. At least that's what we hope and believe.
Uh-huh.
And it's just going to be a matter of time where these collections will start to pop off as announcements hit, etc. And maybe some of those things aren't going to happen as viciously as they did in the past, unless that overall market energy comes right. So if Doodles project lands really well, it may not mean that the floor price shoots to 10 ETH, but it may go up to 3.5, 4, and that's still a good move. Then again, if it doesn't land to NFT expectation, we can have see a sell the news event kind of thing too. So it's so wild to kind of anticipate that, the trailer launched and the price initially crashed on Doodles, which was beyond me. So there's still some risk in terms of what they can do. But overall, I think NFTs are a little less negative sentiment and a little bit more quiet. But I think that's good for the
Yeah.
potential to pop off a bit.
Yeah. No. So pop up the. So okay. So that's the VAYC chart. Is it back above? Okay. So it's still a 9. Okay. So it was just like a little. Honestly, it didn't
There's
really
a
move.
pump and back to where it was basically.
Yeah. So it was just a 1 day thing. Okay. And then pop up the Retardio or Milady, because I believe those
Mhm.
guys are holding up very well.
I
Rhodes,
was gonna say
right?
that's
Right.
the one you want to look at next is Milady's. They really are the collection that has momentum behind them. A little bit of a pullback. Interesting to see from where they're at. What do you have there for? I can do this on my computer here as well.
Yeah, I think you can stream if you want as well.
Yeah, I think the best one is the Parsec. I think I really like the Parsec charts you create. Roads. They're actually very clear.
Yeah,
So much better
Parsec's a
than
lot of
Magic even.
fun with that. I think Magic Eden is probably the next spot I like to look. The Parsec charts are top notch, but Magic Eden's a nice place to see all collections and take a look at things. So yeah, I don't think maybe I can share. I'm don't have my normal laptop. I'm in the office. You can see behind me here, so I'm not necessarily as capable as I usually am.
Yeah. Well, tell me your thoughts on it because the actual token it bounced up. I don't know if you follow the Retardio token on Solana, but it bounced up. I'm looking at it right now. It literally bounced up. What did it bounce up from the lows? I think yesterday it was at 0.66, so it bounced up about what is that?
This one?
Yeah, Retardio and Solana. It's up like 34%. Is that what it is? 30% plus? Yeah. Yeah, Retardio and Solana. So I wonder, I mean, if this is, I mean, they have such a cool community. If there's any upcoming news, because the NFTs are doing well, I mean, they always had a very solid 4 to 5 ETH floor price. But, the token on Solana is the one that I've been playing uh, most recently. And it reached at some point, I think it was a 130 million market cap, dipped all the way to, what is that, 66 million market cap, right?
Yeah,
And it's
65.
back, and now it's back at 90, right? So it's one of those tokens that is interesting because you look at like tokens like Giga, and backed by cold communities, but they don't really have a lot of holders. It's just whales that are, they just have this belief and and just like this kind of like anti-culture kind of like mentality, and those are the communities that do well whether you like them or not. I'm looking at the chart. I think it's like what, 12,000 holders, Danksy? Not even. Yeah, 12,000 holders with a market cap of 100 million. When you
Yeah.
look at other 100 million tokens, you're looking at 20 to 30,000 holders minimum, right? On that range. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on it, Rhodes?
Well, first off, back to Milady's in general on the NFT side. Just looking at Parsec on that, and 4.8 is really an important level for it to hold. Kind of the daily, the trend, etc., support and resistance. So looking for a hopeful bounce on this 4.8 on Milady's. But then when you go back to the Solana token and Tardio and how everything's going around the community side of things with Milady's NFTs, etc. I don't disagree with you. I think it's there's more community and culture behind Milady's, which feeds into the token, and it becomes an interesting and reasonable play. For the most part, I've really looked at just the momentum of many of the meme coins and just where's the momentum at right now, and kind of played that versus looking at thesis and anything beyond that, just keeping it really simple on the TA side of things and saying, okay, these particular meme coins look strong. There's where, you know, you want to rest within. And I think I've found it harder for meme coins to go much beyond that, right? They're kind of like this culture beta more than anything. But you know, if there's a segment of the NFT and crypto universe that has the most culture, it's Miladies, right? There's basically your hardcore crypto enthusiasts generally within that community, right? So it's I think it's a reasonable bet, but I think there's all kinds of good bets when it comes to meme tokens. So you know, depends on how you want to make that play.
Yeah. Janksy, any thoughts on it?
I'm not playing Retardio, but I do definitely want to get a Milady in the future. Seems like with all the meme stuff going around, like they just are the most well positioned NFT collection. Um, Not sure
Hmm.
how many airdrops they get or what alpha they have internally, but it seems like they kind of have it locked in right now.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing I was looking at is Pump.Fun revenue. I think it hit 80 million, which is incredible. When you think about the protocol has only been active since March, right? I mean, active, when I mean active, is people actually buying and trading actively, which I believe is about 1 to 2 million, in revenue per day. That sounds pretty crazy when you think about it. So obviously now it's positive for them. When it looks to the in regards to the market, is this a positive for you guys that a protocol like this is doing so well? Because we're seeing tens of thousands of meme coins being launched every day and a little bit of saturation in the meme coin market. That's why in part yesterday when the market started to soften, I rotated some of my, low risky small cap tokens into more, consolidated slash communities, about 500 million, ideally like Popcat, etc. Even some Michi as well. But do you think this is a positive or a net negative for the space?
I'll say that when it comes to say Solana versus ETH and ETH counterparts, ETH tends to hold better, right? There's a little bit more stickiness to it. There's a little less of this, you know, on to the next thing. As I just finished talking just before, where it's like, okay, I want to look at what's doing well and be in those current trending meme coins, and I don't care about little pockets as much because I know that you know there's 4 or 5 other meme coins that are trending and outperforming everything else. It's certainly a bit of a headwind for the ability for you know as many meme coins to break out and for you know even just some of the general participants to not get wrecked in this PvP because meme coins are popping up and popping off briefly and then dying so fast that you know if you're not experiencing, you're not in the kind of the right rotations and in and out with a plan, you will get just annihilated by it because people will move on to the next thing as soon as momentum dies off on the next uh, token that comes out every 5 minutes kind of thing, right? So yeah, it's interesting. I think it's evolving the market, right? So you were in this previous land of meme coins and you know your historical Doge and everything like that there that was like you know you would get a handful of them that would really kind of exist in a cycle. Now you have hundreds of thousands that can exist on a you know month. It's this whole new kind of meta and you know it allows a meme and this culture kind of energy to to occur at such a rapid pace. So I think that's really cool and really exciting for those that are connected. So yeah, it's a bit of both. It's a headwind for the general liquidity to kind of hold itself within the right meme coins. But it means then anything can exist and arrive, and it gives the opportunity for anything to exist and arrive, and only the strong survive. So, you just have to be very aware that liquidity and movement will happen fast, and you can get caught, especially in these newer meme tokens. So, I don't think it's significant enough that it's going to wreck the market per se. I think it's a new way of evolving and getting into meme tokens in general. And polymarket is the same idea where you get this prediction market that's existing, which is not so indifferent than pumped up fun in terms of what it tries to cover. And it's just another way of evolving this kind of prediction market and token economy, so to speak.
Yeah, I think what Pumped Up Fund does really well is, I mean, it's safe. It's safe from like the LP rugs, um, additional mints. Like the contract is good, right? But it doesn't solve the pump and dump for like the whoever makes it, right? That's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
that'll never be solved. Um, I mean, it does solve a pretty significant problem with the safety, but like, what market cap are you comfortable trading coins at, right? The people who are trading coins from like 0 to like, I don't know, 3 million, 5 million, 10 million are
yeah,
different from the people who trade coins from like 50 to 100 million, different from the people who trade the coins from 100 to a billion, right? It's a whole
right.
different game in every single one of those.
Yeah,
Um, I mean,
that's
you
exactly it,
probably need
right?
like, I mean, there's probably groups out there that just make these and get them on Radium and then try to launch it. But I mean, you're competing with like tens of thousands of meme coins every hour on Pumped Up Fun already.
Yeah, no, it's a very tough market to be in the low caps, and I actually, funny enough, I was in the spaces during the spaces. It was yesterday, 2 days ago, late at night, and they were talking about this token, which I'm actually ashamed to talk about it, but it's the gay token on Solana. And I saw it kind of like being launched at 100,000. Well, it kind of like went through the whole bonding curve thing, and it ran from 100,000 to 7 million. And so I actually sold early. I made a fairly decent bag, but I sold about 2 to 3 million market cap. It ran all the way to 7, and then I think it's back down to 800,000 right now. But it's all these like narrative of like, I think it was started by Frank D. Gods saying that he was gay or whatever. Honestly, the most stupid things, but I guess coming back to the point is you have to see that and understand that this market is played by a few individuals that control heavily controlled volume, heavily control the flow of news when it comes to meme coins. So I normally don't buy coins under 1 million market cap unless the narrative is clear or I see certain groups of people that I follow closely backing it, right? So I kind of like take a little bit of a less risky approach. And when it comes down to 1 to 5 million, they're still quite risky, but I normally don't put more than like 1 to 5 sol when it comes down to those coins. And then most of my approach to meme coins is heavily betting on strong communities with like cultists like kind of like community, right? When you think about Popcat, Michi, Retario, Giga, even Billy recently. He's down significantly now, but you want to see some of those metrics when it comes down to meme coins. And then you guys tell me what your approach is. But did you guys see what happened with that CTO token yesterday? There's a new app where you can launch meme coins. What was it called? Something that meme. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
On Twitter or where?
Yeah, yeah, the one on Twitter, exactly. So you can literally, I think we saw a tweet from, I don't know if it was Magic Eden or Solana. I don't know, a major account tweeting about it. And apparently you can now launch meme coins and with a ticker on Twitter, something that meme. I can't remember what it was. Oh, that one, yes. And there was a token overnight called CTO that got drugged, and a lot of people were like, blaming Radium for it. Do you guys know about
Damn, I already
this?
got suspended.
Yeah, yeah. So there was a whole drama. I didn't buy into it because I was just reading about it this morning. But apparently, the token, the CTO token. I mean, I don't know if you can look at it, Danksy over there. Uh, it got drugged, and it was supposed to be, or it was uh it was tweeted by Radium or some sort of like protocol on Solana, and everyone kind of like literally Radium like pulled out the liquidity or whatever, and everyone kind of like got rugged right there in the moment. So
No
interesting. I
way,
haven't looked at this.
Radium rug a coin.
Well, it
That's
looked
not
like
good.
that from what I saw. A bunch of like liquidity was taken, and people were blaming Radium, but I don't think so. There might have been a problem with the contract. I don't know, with the token. I don't know what the idea was behind it. Um, but anyway, just another platform where you can launch meme coins, and apparently you just have to. The way it works, apparently you just have to post a ticker, no, connecting with your Twitter account. Is that what it is, Denksy?
Yeah, but it's banned already. Like they don't have access to Twitter anymore.
Well, a lot of accounts have that issue, and they might be able to recover it. Who knows? Have you heard about this, Roads?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so it's the latest way to launch and rock, pretty
I don't
much.
know. I seem like it's not like a it's not like a 10x improvement on pumped off fun, so like no one's gonna go use it.
Well, we'll see. I mean, like, what happened to Moonshot? Is Moonshot being actually utilized, or can you see some metrics on that, or not? Some Moonshot tokens are actually, you can see them on Bull.x and other bots. They have like a meme scope approach, right?
1.6 million is the top market cap of all moonshot tokens.
Yeah. So it looks like it's not really that popular. Yeah.
No, people aren't gonna switch from pumped off fun if it's not a 10x improvement on anything. Like this is
Mhm.
just probably like a 1x improvement, if that.
Yeah. 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 I don't know, man. It's I mean, looking at the market right now. Solana is back at 164, so that's a good bounce. Bitcoin above 64,000. Ethereum still a little bit down, but it reclaimed 3,100. So it looks like we have a little bit of a bounce here. And definitely positively affecting some meme coins like Popcat is above zero point 0.7 now. So we're up significantly from that one, that trade. Um, and there's a couple of other ones, but I think we're gonna see the same that we saw in the last dip. First, we're gonna see like large caps recover, and then once people start being back above their, entry levels or start to make profit, they will probably buy into lower. That money will flow into mid to lower caps. That I would say that's the approach. But
Is it this one?
which one?
This one's the CTO one.
Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, again, I haven't really looked at it, but yeah, I don't know. If you search on Twitter, I'm sure you'll find it like CTO Radium or something, and I think something happened with it overnight that people were pissed off. So trading meme coins is getting more and more difficult, man. I really, you have to have the right setup, but also not even like that. You just have to be, especially with low cups, you have to be in front of your monitor, your laptop 24/7, right? So that is becoming a fairly competitive space. Um, I remember back in November, December, you would just go on Dex Screener And if a token had more than 5 to 10 million in volume in the last 6 hours or in the last hour and a half or so, you would just buy blindly, and the next day you will be like 2 to 5x up. Remember with Ponky, Ponky was one of our most successful trades in December. Buying it, I think we bought it at under 10 million market cap. It went all the way to 60, down again, and then all the way. Right now, I think it's close to 300 million. So, but back in that the time frame, during December, January, they were like, you could count how many tokens you could buy into, and there was a lot of attention on those. Right now, it's very difficult. It just seems that there's a lot of dilution, especially on low to mid caps. So it's gonna be
Yeah, he
interesting
just
to see.
pumped off fund a token out for like $50.
Yeah, and then you also have to count the Cabal tokens, the BC tokens, all these weird derivatives of like Nero and all these like tokens. Like there's a ton of nonsense, and so I think this rinse was most definitely due. I like not that I like to see everyone's back being obliterated, including mine, but definitely seems like we need a natural, reset on the market, not just majors, but mostly meme coins. It's just it really is, it's just making no sense. It's like that's why I asked that question. For me, it's like net negative right now, whereas before it was great because you see all this liquidity flowing to Solana, so developers are incentivized to build, and the protocol is doing great, et cetera, et cetera. But now we're getting to a point that it's not fun anymore to buy or trade meme coins because in most cases you're gonna get wrecked, right? So um, you kind of like have to have your own approach to buying these. Anyways, um, any other topics, guys, that you guys are looking at? Or are we all waiting on Apple and Coinbase earnings here?
Apple just released theirs.
Okay,
I think they did pretty well.
is it moving up after hours a bit?
A little
Looks like
bit.
it. Yeah.
Coinbase, decent. It's up at least, but who knows what the after hours tradings will be and what tomorrow will bring. Mara is today
Uh
down,
huh.
I think.
My and MicroStrategy as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, gold is doing very well, man. Um, Gold was near all-time highs today. I think it jumped to 2,300. It's back to 2,500, almost 2,450. Um, which is, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? I don't know, Rhodes. Do you have any thoughts on it? Is it like is it kind of like a signal that investors are looking to protect their downside here with the concerns of geopolitical risk in the Middle East, rate cuts, perhaps indecision for September? What do you guys make of this move in gold? Because Bitcoin is definitely not following gold.
Yeah, gold actually looks really strong right now. I think you're right. There's this bit of sentiment that maybe we've talked a bit in the S&P, and with that, maybe there's a bit of a rotation into some stability, that sort of stuff. But I don't know well beyond that. Like it's looking strong. It's looked strong really since about July 8th. Kind of was the signal for a buy on gold, and it's performed well, running up from there. Yeah, I don't know much beyond that, whether it's just a rotation kind of idea. I think there's probably uh, you know a portfolio balance of gold and Bitcoin that both make sense, given everything that's kind of going on. But
Yeah.
yeah, I can't see other than geopolitical and like I said, a little bit of belief top being in on the S&P. that sort of stuff. Maybe gold retraces when we get a rate cut in September. I think that's the kind of the thought process. I don't know if that sentiment's changed. That September is kind of the point of rate cuts, and whether or not gold might pull back a bit at that time. But at the moment, it looks really good.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on it, Danksy?
Uh, I don't know. Never been a big fan of gold.
Yeah.
Um,
How are
I
treasuries
mean,
doing? Are treasuries also like going up, or because I don't think they're doing that well. Um, the Dixie is up today, which is the dollar index. Normally, when the dollar goes up, people or investors are trying to signal that they're taking that risk off, essentially, right? So the Dixie is up today about 1%, right? So not even. Still on a downtrend, which is positive for. In general, you want to see the U.S. dollar index go down as liquidity flows into the system, right? The because that means that stocks are going up, investors are buying risky assets, which signals a positive outlook on the economy when it comes to risk assets, right? So it's still on a downtrend. I think we hit I think April 16th was kind of like the high at 106, and then we have kind of like hit this double bottom at 103 here in the last 2 weeks. So I wonder if we're gonna bounce back up or if we are gonna continue downwards.
Yeah,
But when you
that's
see right, because when you see the Dixie strong, gold strong, uh, potentially Treasury yield and bonds doing well, we might see further downside in the stock market. But you know, stocks really look forward like 18 months, right? It's always like people are already kind of like trading what's going to happen next year, which is pretty important to know as a trader and as an investor. People are not trading what's happening in the market today. They are forecasting or pricing in what's going to happen in the next 18 months. So, what are your thoughts, Rhodes?
I was gonna say. Yeah, that the Dixie is it's in this downtrend, but you're right. It's a bit of a double bottom as well. I mean, it's very similar back and forth to what you see in Bitcoin, and kind of your leading element for Bitcoin. So yeah, I think I agree there.
Yeah, the
what
big
chart are you looking
section
at for that? I
for
mean, it's
the
still range bound for since
yeah.
like
Yeah, it's range bound
2023.
on. I mean, yeah, it doesn't really move as much, right? Like, but moves of 0.5 to 1% are actually fairly big for the dollar. Um, so if you think about where we were at in March, March was kind of like the best month for crypto, right? I think it was February, March. Um, well, December was great too, but right there in March, I think we were at 102 Dixie, right? And then April was fairly bad for risk assets. They said like selling may go away, but I think April was also not a very good month. Um, Went to 106, and then eventually it's been choppy back to almost $100, 102, and now it's kind of like stabilizing there. So we'll see. I don't really tend to pay a lot of attention to this, but when you look at crypto, we're heavily still dependent on macro news and geopolitical risk, and so as long as we see kind of like these major indexes, you know, kind of like rowing the other way, I don't expect a major bounce on crypto, right? Which is I think what everyone here that is listening cares about, right? It's like when is our Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum going to go up? And so I think what we're seeing is a lot of hedge funds and a lot of traders here, like you know, buying and trading this range in between 60 and 70,000. Um, and really that's going to happen until I I believe it's going to be this way until probably like late September, beginning of October, which is when we actually see normally that seasonality within Bitcoin. Rate cuts will definitely help. I think rate cuts being announced is a kind of like a bearish thing, right? Which just means the economy is slowing down. But after rate cuts are done, then is when the what they call the cowbell, right, which is the injection of liquidity comes in, and then people have more discretionary income capital to invest, and that goes also risk assets, right? So um, I don't see anything out of the ordinary. I don't know. You guys are seeing something differently. I'm not sure we're gonna have a great August, but I for sure know that we're not going. I for sure know. Hope I do. um, that we are not getting into or going into a bear market here. So Dengsi, I think you are safe. We're still in a bull market territory.
Nice. I mean, the volatility these last couple of days, last like couple weeks were insane, especially on the equity side. It
Yeah.
makes Bitcoin looks pretty stable if you look at the chart.
Yeah, no, it's bouncing up. What is it? 64, almost 65,000, no? 64.7. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Good bounce. Yeah.
in the last hour, it
Yeah,
was
I mean,
all
look,
us. It was the
yeah,
spaces for sure.
I think so too. We're just like bull posting here and bull talking. I think Bitcoin went up 30% in 2 weeks, right? I think we started that run up on July 8th, right after the Independence Day in the US. That weekend was, well, that crazy thing that happened with the, assassination attempt on Trump. And then we went all the way up to almost 70, right? I think we wicked at 69,000 and something, or
I think it hit
70,000.
70.
Yeah, it
It
hit
hit 70.
70.
It was like
Yeah.
70 and like a dollar.
Yeah. And then I think we just seeing a period of like taking profits, I unless we go here under 60 or under we see 62, low 62 maybe I'm concerned, but we're bouncing up to 64, 65. I'm not I'm not worried. So um yeah, we'll see. Solana is back at 164 too. So might be a fairly, slow weekend. I'm not foreseeing a lot of volume coming up during the weekends. It's normally a time where, especially summer, right? With peak summertime, people are out. So I don't think we're gonna have a massive um, bounce here, but I probably see us range in this at these levels in between Solana 160, 165, maybe 170, and then Bitcoin in between 62, 63, 62 and a half, 63 to 65. Which should keep most stuff fairly stable when it comes to the lower caps. So I don't know, Rhodes, how do you see it?
Um, on the Bitcoin side of things,
Yeah,
yeah, it's I'm still, like I said, I'm still looking for this like pull back to like 60K um range. Though, you look at it, you look at the 4 hour and the way it's kind of reclaimed the 4 hour EMA and the 200 EMA. Like it looks like it's taking this little liquidity grab and it's pulling and it's trying to hold bullish. And so
yeah,
with that, like if it regrabs this and holds this 64 range from this like little dump down that we've had over the last um, 8 to 10 hours, then it's not looking like it's going to go back to 60. So even though that's kind of what I'm anticipating and looking for, it's always going to do what the market's not thinking. And so it's looking good on this last 4 hour run here, and
yeah,
where it's at. And if it holds in the 64, 64.5 range, then there's no reason why it can't continue this uptrend a bit here. So it is, yeah, yeah. I think this 64 close. We still have 3 hours on this candle, so there's still a range to go. But
yeah,
it looks good. It looks good if it holds it.
yeah. Agreed. Well, I think we're almost at time here. Do you guys want to look at Poly market? Because there's a ton of things going on. I was just looking at it. Are we gonna have a war here, a response from Iran during the weekend? Because normally Saturdays are the time where shit happens, right? Excuse my language, but it's always during the weekends that they kind of like do this, and I wonder if they do it on purpose to kind of like position themselves on Fridays, and then shit happens on during the weekends, and then the stock market kind of like goes either one way or the other. But I'm looking at Poly market here. Will Iran military response by Friday? Yes or no? What do you
That's
guys think?
tomorrow though.
Yeah, I know. It might be tomorrow, but I think it probably will if it happens during the weekend. I would say Saturday. What are you guys thinking? It says no, right?
Hmm. I mean, Saturday isn't included in this, so if there's a Saturday bet, it could be interesting.
I
Yeah,
don't
I
know what they're
think
saying Friday. Is that because they announced that it was going to be like immediate um
There's probably a
retaliation?
different one. August 12th here.
it's Friday. Friday's basically closing already, right? So if you're looking
Yeah.
at,
It's Friday
um,
tomorrow. It's Friday Eastern time.
That's right, which is like almost Saturday morning for like Middle East.
oh, okay, so it's Friday Eastern time, then there's still plenty of time to go.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know. That could
I think
be.
there's a reasonable chance.
Are you making a bet, Danksy? Do we make a bet on this?
Though I'm locked up. I can't sell my Olympic shares
Wait, you bet on the Olympics? What do you bet?
that I have. U.S. with most gold medals.
That's a pretty safe bet. I mean, I think Japan is leading. No, is it Japan or
I
who
think
is
China
leading?
has a lot of gold medals right now, but
Okay.
the
Okay.
U.S. normally comes out with a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so you're betting on that one. That's too boring for me, man. I need something more exciting. Otherwise, I'm not gonna bridge any Ethereum to Polygon. It just seems to be a
I
pain.
think you can
So
send. I think you can just send ETH in there, like ETH money.
really, without bridging? Okay.
I think so. That's what I did.
Okay, then I will consider it.
What are you looking
Um,
at? What are you looking at the war one
I'm
on?
looking at the war one because it has 23% chance of not happening. So maybe I go the other way around. I mean, I don't think it's going to be a lot, but is the response like, how is it like described? Is it just like any response? Because remember last time when Israel kind of like bombed that kind of like, I think it was a church. No, it was not a, what was it like?
The park?
Yeah, no, it was an official building where they killed one of these either Hamas leaders or someone, right? And then the next day, Iran sent some drones or some
I think
airstrike to.
drones, airstrikes, and drones will count.
Okay, so that's what I think. I think they're gonna do something. I mean, I'm not hopefully not at World War III here, right? But they're not just gonna stay and do nothing, right? They might just kind of like try to sew up um, in a way that lets Israel know they cannot be messed with,
There is
But
right?
one
it has to be. It
for
has to be from the government. It can't be from a proxy force.
I see. Okay. Well, I'm gonna think about that one. There's a lot
there
of
is one
like,
for the month
yeah,
of August, and that one's at 48%.
Ooh,
by
where's
August
that one?
12th. Okay, so it's giving us like 2 weeks, right? Pretty much 12 days.
This one, the Iran military response by August 12th,
What's that one at?
like
80%.
95%. Like there's like
Something's
no
gonna
liquidity
happen.
on this as well.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna look at it. And then looks like Kamala Harris is here gaining a ton of like power, no, on this polls. It
Yeah,
was at thirty
Oh, I
percent
should have made
yesterday.
that. This would have been like a 25, almost like a 30% increase, like a
Yeah,
30%
because
profit on this
it was
if
at
we did it.
20. It was at 20 or 30% yesterday, no, or two
It
days
was at like
ago.
30% like a while back.
God damn it. Okay. And you know what? I was listening to a Spaces. that it's so interesting because when you ask someone if they're gonna go vote, left or right, they're gonna tell you whatever they will tell you, but it doesn't really have to be the truth of what they're going to do, right? Because they can be biased or they can be,
They could lie on the internet
yeah,
to
they can
win.
lie on the internet, they can be politically correct. But when you are betting your money on some of these things, this is a source of truth, right? So if I was the government and I look at this website and I'm looking at this, right now there's only, well, only
I
four
think
hundred
this
four
is
hundred
the right
million, right? But
percentage.
yeah, I know there's only 400 million, but what if this bet goes to like 2 to 3 billion? Then you can start to make way more accurate estimates about what's going to happen on the elections. Well,
I think
no,
this is a
let me take
pretty
that
good.
back.
I think this is very close to what it is.
Yeah.
If it's not 50-50.
Well, but anyone can bet too, right? Also, like non-U.S. citizens. So I don't know. We'll see.
Right, but
Um,
like people who bet on this are like probably like above average, know what to do situation. They're just not gonna throw
really?
money at this for no reason.
Well, there's a lot of degens in the space, Danksy.
Sure, but you're betting money. There's money
Yeah.
involved.
What's the? Can we see what the largest bet is?
Probably. Probably this one.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's probably that one. Yeah.
No, 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 but not the actual.
Oh, the
Uh,
holders.
yeah, yeah. Can you see that or not?
Yeah, this guy.
How much does he have on it? 3 million? No.
Like 2 million.
Okay. Well, you see that this is the kind of information we have to track, roads, right? Because I'm sure these people have certain amount of like knowledge. I mean, you can also find like degen degenerate like gamblers, but no one puts like 2 million bucks on something that they don't have certain information on, right? Would you think so?
I think this guy's market making though.
Oh, you think so? Okay, that
Like,
could be
look at the volume traded.
okay. That could be an option too. I don't
I
know.
think a lot of the top accounts are market makers.
Yeah,
Like, look at the volume.
yeah. I mean, could be. I mean, like it's still um, a fairly young marketplace and app. I think if how many users do they have? Do you know that active users or no idea? We can
I
probably
don't think
find that
so.
data. We can probably find that data.
Maybe in like a
Um,
news thing.
no, we can probably scrap that data. I mean, I don't know if it's per wallet or what it is, um, but they're doing fairly well. I mean, they had
It,
over a billion, no, in bets across all the platform. So roads, you gonna
yeah, I
say
was gonna
something?
say it'd be really
Oh,
interesting to track some of that. So like you look at Cirrus, um, has resulted in 31 million in profit,
yeah.
um, over 31 or 31,000. It's very, that's
Who? Which
unclear.
guy?
So if you go to
Oh, I see
ranks,
it. The
yeah.
one for today.
Oh, that's month all time. So that's 211 million
Hmm.
just cam. So yeah, you could probably follow that. I would like to like if you were to look at like closed activity and then trades in and out, like I'm sure there is some definite kind of follows there that makes sense. But just trying to figure out exactly where that is at is the interesting part.
Yeah.
This guy's just only betting on Kamala.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, look, yeah, she's gaining a ton of support here with what happened yesterday with the, I think Trump really shoot himself in the foot, making those comments, and I think their media is really looking for any excuse to really kind of like shoot him down, right? So we'll see what happens, but we should make a bet in between the three of us. We can do it about Bitcoin price perhaps, or whatever you guys want, and then come back Monday and see who won. Do we want to do something like that
for the
and
weekend.
then put it on Discord? Yeah, like you can put it like one soul or something like that. We can decide what the number is, but let's. Do we think that Bitcoin is going to be above or below 65,000 by Monday?
Hmm. What does Polymarket say?
Not a bad decision there.
On Monday, this is August 12th. 2nd is
Yeah,
tomorrow.
and you can
Do you think it's gonna hit
yeah.
68K by tomorrow? This could
No,
be
I
a bet.
said I said above or below 65,000 by Monday to make it spicy. Right? I'm just shooting at the mid range, right? Like say the top of the range is 70, bottom of the range is 60, hopefully. So it could be a good one.
Yeah, it's well, considering where it's at right now and the key levels it's kind of pushing.
Yeah.
It's I'm gonna say below,
Okay.
only because it's currently below trend on a couple levels, but like there's just I got some serious hesitation on that.
Yeah.
So I think it's yeah,
Bit low.
I definitely see it above 65, but I'm gonna go below.
Below.
Wait, how does
Dengxi?
that work? You think you see it above 65, or you're betting against yourself?
No. I mean, I can see the scenario of above. Like I said, if the 4 hour closes above 64.8, then we're holding that kind of key range support and you know it can definitely move above.
Yeah. Dengxi,
But
what's your
kind of we're in
bet,
this
man?
short term downtrend, so it's it's a tricky one to call. That's a nice number he's tagged out, but I think we're below.
Okay. Below. Dengxi, what's your bet?
I'll take Rhodes' first initial thought, and I'll go above
Above?
65 on
Okay.
Monday. What time on Monday? Noon?
Well, we can decide if you guys want to do like, regular market hours or 20, like, by midnight, whatever, PST,
You,
whatever you guys want to do. I'll let you guys decide. I'm going to go above too, just because. But, um, but you guys decide the time. We can do midnight Monday or midnight Tuesday, right? Which is like, yeah, like, or,
That's a long time from now.
I
okay,
got noon Eastern
okay.
Monday.
Noon Eastern.
Oh, I see what you want. He was the first. He was the first 3 hours of market action,
No,
but
that's usually positive on Monday, is it not?
yeah, no, for
It's
sure.
it's
Yeah.
usually strong. It's usually strong into Tuesday, and then
No,
Tuesday's kind of your sell.
really, I thought Mondays were dump days.
I've seen,
Depends for Bitcoin.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we have that. What are we betting? Are we betting one soul, less than that? What's the bet here, guys?
I like one soul.
One soul. Dengxi?
Well, how would that work? If Rhodes does Rhodes win 2x if he wins?
Looks like it. I mean, well, yeah, that's a good point. Um,
Yeah, you guys both took the opposite side. Well, you guys win a half soul.
okay, why
I
don't
win a
we?
full soul.
What we could do is make it
You each
more
pay me a half.
elaborate.
You each pay me a half soul, and I have to pay you guys.
It only
You each,
works because there's liquidity on Polymarket on both sides. So
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
Rhodes would win 2 soul if we just deposit it all in Polymarket.
yeah. What I was actually thinking is we could do closer to 65,000 type of thing, right? Like so, Road says 64,500. I say 64,900 or 65,100. Do you know what I'm saying? Like closer to that exact kind of like mid level is the one that wins the pot, which is 3 soul.
Closest. How about closest to the actual amount wins 3 soul.
Yeah, exactly. Closest to the actual amount wins the soul.
All
Okay,
right, so
so
we gotta pick one. We gotta individually pick one then.
okay. All right, so Rhodes.
what's my
Wait,
price
how?
as of
Well, then
Monday?
we know what the if we know what the what we're picking, we just sandwich.
Well,
people.
by noon, right? By noon Eastern on Monday, you just pick a specific price, right? I do the same, and you do the same, Dexy, and then whatever number is close to wins,
We have to do it
right?
blind though. We have to go blind.
That's what it is to forecast, man. Right?
Right, but if you say 65, and then Rhodes is like, I'll go 65 and $1, and then I go 64.99.9, like you have no chance of winning.
Okay, well, let's not do that. Let's just try to finalize this damn bet.
Uh, is there a way to do this blind? Definitely, you can do it with you can probably do it with with blockchain with ZK Tech.
Yeah, we can, but we cannot just also do it and then just post it on Discord.
Yeah. How about this? In 5 minutes, we post it on Discord, and that you can't
Okay.
edit your answer. You guys just send a number.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, we'll make it interesting, and we can even like allow members to bet on that specific bet. That will be even more complex. But let's go, guys.
Who's bet on who's got the right pick? So
Right.
we're betting to see who's closest to the actual price.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah, I think that's the best, right? Because otherwise, yeah, it's what you guys said, like 2-1, like it doesn't make that much sense. So closest to the actual price by noon Eastern on Monday. I think that could be fun. One Solana, fairly good price for this kind of like short term bet. And then we'll see. Maybe we can make it more spicy next time. But all right, so let's post on Discord. Um, and then yeah, good luck, gentlemen.
Yeah.
All right.
Good luck. Yeah, call it a good number now.
All right, yeah, Danksy, use your seer powers to nail the actual target. But all right, guys. Well, let's see what happens during the weekend. Otherwise, we'll plan to do another session. I don't know. You guys have anything for tomorrow? Otherwise, Monday, Tuesday, we should see how the market's doing. Perhaps show our live bets here of what happens.
Some couple coins are moving. The CTO coin is moving
Is it
up
okay?
like 100% since we last looked at it, or like close to 100%.
Okay.
This
All
one
right.
I'm getting calls on from people.
I mean, dude,
Cozy.
when something goes down like 80 or 90%, it's, I mean, a little bounce. I mean, you can trade that, but I don't know if it's worth it. You make you make your choice, right?
Oh,
What is
I
it?
didn't trade
100?
anything. I'm just looking at
Yeah.
it, and then yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. No, the Nero one is the one on Ethereum. That one is there's definitely some market makers behind that. I haven't traded it. I just don't like to trade meme coins on Ethereum. I have Pepe, but I don't trade it. Just a long-term bag. I don't know if you guys trade on Ethereum, but I just don't like it. So my trading is just on Solana for meme coins. But hey, if some of you guys or anyone in the Discord bought Nero, you should be up, like quite big, right? Because it went up. Well, it went up to 150 million in 2 days, something like that. Something
190
crazy.
now.
Okay, wow. Okay, yeah. So that's pretty good return. Congrats if you did. I faded it. So all right, gents. Well, we'll chat later. We'll post this on Discord and then do another session here on Monday and see what happens.
Sounds good. It's been a joy. Catch you guys later.
See you
All
guys.
right, see you
Cheers.
guys. Peace.